How's it going, everybody? RyeSquad here today, and we are back with your Toledo Underdogs and our Underdogs to Champion series. And guys, after 2 consecutive disappointing seasons, I think we need to make a couple changes. Now, I'm not going to blow it all up like I suggested at the end of the last episode. I was pretty frustrated, and as you guys, I feel like it's understandable why I'm so frustrated with this team, because on paper, we look like a really good, solid roster, but just in performance, they just aren't cutting it. And there's a couple players that I'm looking at that I maybe would like to move on from, and some guys I'd like to give more ice time to. So the first guy that I'm probably going to move on from here is Porter Martone. He is a power forward who doesn't really have a shot, and his passing is really, really awful. And sure, he's got good offensive awareness, but his defensive category isn't that great either. He's just not a guy that's turned out to be anything more than a 50-ish point player. And, I've kind of cut his ice time as years have gone on. He's been all right. Maybe more ice time would get more points out of him, but for a guy that is supposed to be a medium elite, I feel like I can get quite a bit of value out of him. He doesn't really make an impact on the game. 24 years old still time to develop and grow, fits the second line, but at the same time, I just kind of feel like we need to move on from him. He's only got so much value, and $7.5 million over a ton of years. It just doesn't feel right. And then you go to the blue line, and Ryan Johnson he's 29. He's pretty much who he is, and he's not all that good. His offensive side of things with his passing and offensive awareness aren't great. His shot is horrible. The defensive side, he's manageable, but his skating is absolutely horrendous, which I think EA has completely missed the boat on, because he is a fairly good skater in real life. I don't think he should have 81 speed by any stretch, but just not a guy that's ever been a needle mover. And if I had to pick one of him or Perrick to keep, it's going to be Zane Perrick, who's still an 85, still medium elite, still has an insane puck skills category. So if he can improve his offensive awareness even a bit, he would be a dynamo in the offensive end. And you can see that he's a guy that has been a strong plus in the past, better shooting percentage, hits, blocks. I love it, right? And he's got a better giveaway to takeaway ratio. So and obviously that puck skills category is too good to pass up on. And the goaltending, we've got our goaltender. I'm not going to blame Lincoln Gardner, who's about to probably become a 90 overall goaltender for us. He's going to stick around, but there's just a couple moves I want to make. I don't want to move everybody out. Maybe I move out Philip Zadina too. I mean, he's been a long time guy. He is 31. He has 3 years left at just under 7. So it's not like his contract is really that negative. Looking at his stats, he's a pretty solid player. I can't really complain about him. It might be one that I decide on what we can get back for, but he doesn't hit, he doesn't block, he doesn't really take care of the puck all that well. He's always giving it away more than he's keeping it. He doesn't shoot all that well. He gets points, right? He's a solid playmaker, but we have guys in the system who can come up, and I think we need a refresh of who's on the roster. So not draft class. Let's take a look at the view contracts. And as you guys can see here, we've got Charnquist, who was an early draft pick for us when we won the lottery. First overall sniper here. This is the kind of guy we could bring in that could help us out, because I think we need more players that are just going to put up points. And then Tuomo Ristolainen down in Rochester is absolutely killing it. He's a 79, low elite, but he just had 60 points in 70 games, almost 20 goals, 41 assists, right? Looks like a really, really solid player down there in Rochester. Hits, takes the puck away, doesn't really block shots, but that's okay. He's a left winger. He's 23, right? So it's about time I give this guy a little bit of ice time, I think, in the NHL. And it's just somebody that maybe we got to fine tune and micro adjust our roster rather than making big sweeping changes. And another guy that I'm looking to give more ice time to here is Taro Valen. He's low elite and he's 79. I believe he was like an 84, and it was probably mostly because of morale, and he had a good season. There's also Lavin here, who's medium top 6. He's a two-way forward. Feels like really locked into that third line role. Let's take a look at how he's performed. Not fantastic, but playing 9 minutes a night. I feel like I want to get him more ice time as well. 13 goals, so we'll see. But I look at Taro Valen here as a guy that can easily slide into the third line and help us improve the offense and the scoring. The defense, I don't think we're really good at anything right now, but we need to improve the offense. That's what we need to be built on. And it's what we need to do going forward. But 8.5 minutes a night, I want to give him more ice time. Looks like good giveaway takeaway ratio here. No hits and blocks, but again, I believe he's a playmaker, so no need to worry about that. Still shot about 9%. Like to see that get up a little bit, but otherwise, I think Taro Valen's the kind of player that is going to help our goal scorers score goals, and he fits the second and third line quite well. He's got good chemistry with McKenna and Lambert. Doesn't have good chemistry with Michelli. And Michelli's somebody that I would like to keep around. Taking a look at, I think it's Matthias Michelli? Yeah. You can see he's a really well-rounded player. Not really good at shot blocking, but pretty good offensive. And as a playmaker, that's really all I'm going to ask for. And he had about 50 points. Yes, he was a -5, but that's one of the better plus-minuses on the team. And he only played 14, 15 minutes a night, so I'd like to give him a lot more ice time. I think this is a guy that can positively impact our team. The takeaways are fantastic when you compare him to his giveaways, and he's a guy that puts up points, right? So takeaways and points are really what I want to be looking for at this point, because we want the puck and we want to be shooting it. And I think he's somebody that's earned a lot more ice time and should be playing on our second line. And part of what is prompting me to make these changes are looking at the two best teams in the league, and I'm trying to copy what they're doing. You can see that they're scoring over 4 points or 4 goals per game, and they're allowing, like, the Ducks are insane, just under 3, and the Winnipeg Jets are at 3.2. So you can see that these teams are built to dominate, right? Carolina Hurricanes the same way, but the Anaheim Ducks are one that, you know, they didn't exactly get gifted with a ton of talent, and the AI has built them into a pretty solid team. And it's not like their power play is really, really good, but it's not out of this world. Their penalty kill is 80%, so that's not even that great. But you can see that if you take a look at the goals for per game, we're sitting down here at, I think, 3.1. Yeah, 3.13, which is not very good. So we need to pick up another goal per game. And as far as goals against per game, we're not terrible, but you can see the Ducks are up there, and then we'll quickly find the Winnipeg Jets, and they're at 3.26. I feel like we're close, right, at 3.39. So the defensive side of things, I don't need to change too much. It's our offense that I want to lean into more. I mean, the goaltending is there for us. We've got Landry, we've got Chubarovs, we've got Perrick, Trudeau and Pearson are coming up and growing and developing. We just need to find a 6th defenseman. I'm going to get rid of Ryan Johnson because his contract, I believe, is expiring, so we don't need to worry about that. And I just think, like, our power play percentage is pretty good at 21, right? We had the Ducks at 25. They're not, like, living and dying by the power play like the Jets are at 33, right? We're right there with the Anaheim Ducks, a team that I'm comparing ourselves to quite heavily because, well, they're the best team in the NHL, so why not compare to them? And you can see our penalty kill is actually better. And in just a second, guys, I'll show you exactly what the Ducks have. And you can see Norbert Schotten scored 90 goals in 82 games, 150 points. My guy's almost averaging 2 points per game. A medium franchise sniper. He's just been insane. He's really good defensively as well. But you just look at their team, and they take a ton of shots. Right now, they don't have a ton of depth as far as the shots, but he's taken 400 shots and scoring on 20% of them. Their power play is doing well. They've got Leo Carlson, Cutter Gauthier, and Trevor Zegras. I mean, that is a great top 4 players. We're looking at a 91, a 93, a 91, and a 96. So obviously they have the talent. And then Mintyukov, who is a 91 as well. So they have a lot of talent, but you look at, like, what their talent is doing, and they're taking the puck away. Most of them are throwing their body around except for Zegras, which I'm not going to criticize him for. Mintyukov is giving the puck away, but you can see just how dominant they are taking the puck away from the opponent. They're playing a ton of times. Zegras actually isn't. You can see they're all shooting about 200 times, and they're all scoring at about 13 to 16%. So they're all 30 goal scorers, and they're all feeding off of each other, and the ball gets rolling. And you can see their blue line is really centered around one dominant dude, Mintyukov, and then they're pretty solid everywhere else, which is where I feel like we are on the blue line. And their giveaways, takeaways, I mean, obviously that's pretty similar, but they're all blocking shots. That's a big thing, is they have a couple guys over 100 block shots. We only have one, and that's Chubarovs. So I'd like to see us block a few more shots, and then in goal, if the game will keep up with me, they don't even, I mean, Dostal is really good, right? 84, he's solid, and right, they've got a good goaltending tandem, but it's nothing spectacular. So what we need to do is we need to lean more into the guys that are going to score us goals. Guys like Cooper Lutz, Gavin McKenna, if he starts to simulate well for us. I got to figure out what's going to get him simulating better, because we got to unlock him. Cooper Lutz, I feel like we need more elite talent, which is why I'm hesitant to trade away Porter Martone. Maybe I should get rid of Zadina instead of Martone and give Martone one more year, give him a second line chance, and see what he does with it as a power forward, but he just hasn't really developed the way we would need or hope. He's got a couple more years. I don't think I'm going to get rid of him just yet. I think I am going to move on from Zadina, though. He's 31. He's not really the answer. Let's just take a quick, like, you look at compare him, right? And then Martone was just getting such little ice time comparatively. Only shot 6.8%. I don't know if that's just uncharacteristically low. Yeah, it is. He was shooting 14% last season, was a +6, only played 13 minutes a night. His giveaway to takeaway ratio was fine. I don't know. I'd like to see him be a little bit better on the defensive side of things. Obviously, you can see he's got good defensive awareness, but it is that passing that I really just need him to work on being a better passer. A shooter, too, I guess, at the same point. His speed, his skating is not good. Maybe we need skaters. Looking at the Ducks again, guys, I went through their entire category. Norbert Schotten looks, this is the most insane player I've seen in a long time, and he's generated. 2026 first round, first overall pick. Not even a good guy with the puck skills, but 99 speed, 99 acceleration, and he's got 93 defensive awareness, 94 offensive awareness. He can throw the body around. He's 5'11", right? His body checking's 91, though, 88 strength. A really great shot in the mid-90s. I mean, he is exactly what you want to see from a franchise player. You can bump him up against Gavin McKenna and see that it's really not close. You can see Gavin McKenna is by far the better playmaker of the two. He's got a similar defensive and offensive awareness. Physically, he's not quite there, and the shot isn't quite there as well. But the skating just isn't nearly as close. So maybe it is skating. Maybe I need to lean into better skaters, which does lead me to believe that Porter Martone should go because the dude can't skate. The dude, I don't know how he's made it this far, but 78 speed, 81 acceleration is just not it. Maybe I'll look to give guys with speed and awareness. Maybe that's what we need. I have no idea. I didn't think speed was important in the sim, and maybe it's not. And maybe I'm drawing a conclusion that doesn't make sense, but you look at the other great team, it's the Winnipeg Jets, and yeah, Connor, Scheifele, and Ehlers all are almost 2 points per game. Kyle Connor's insane. Obviously, he's got 90s all across the board, but he's got that 90 in the speed. Mark Scheifele, I guess, would buck the trend of what I was saying. He has absolutely no legs left, yet he can put up 154 points. So maybe it's just something about these guys. So Porter Martone is saved for another day, but then you got Nikolai Ehlers here, who's another good skater. So I don't know. Maybe it is skating. Maybe it's not. I'm not going to lean too much into skating, but these guys they just sim well. I mean, they're all taking 200-plus shots. They're getting points. They're working. They got 50 power play points. Their power play is insane. You can see their giveaway to takeaway ratio is great. You want your forwards doing that, right? And obviously guys that are playing less have worse ratios, but a guy like Warren Fogle, he's 83. I was going to say maybe go after him because he looks pretty solid. So I'm going to have to try and find some players that fit that mold. We might have a lot of turnover this season, guys. I think, just looking at our contract situation, I'd like to give Martone another chance, but the guys expiring are Noah Ostlund, Ryan Johnson. I'm going to let him go for sure because he's going to ask for like $5-ish million for not good performance. Yeah, goodbye. And then a couple of guys down here that are just depth. So really, we've got cap space. Should we need it? We'll see. And there you have it. Despite the dominance of the Winnipeg Jets and the Anaheim Ducks, the Toronto Maple Leafs are the Stanley Cup champions, and the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins are the Calder Cup champions. There's the new salary cap, 106 now. We have like 18 million. And let's get to the draft lottery. And we are going to move up from 8 to 2 thanks to the LA Kings. We flip-flop picks. We had the 8th. They had the 9th. But we are going to jump all the way to 2. So that's the second straight year, I believe, that we have won the draft lottery, guys. And instead of moving up to 1, we move up to 2. Nashville drops from 1 to 3, and then everybody else cascades down from that. And the LA Kings flip-flop picks. We finished 6 points ahead of them. And oh my goodness, I was like, of course, I'm like, I know our pick is going to win the lottery. Like number 9 is going to jump. It's just guaranteed. But we are going to go from 8 to 2. That's what we need. That's what we love to see. So let's go ahead. We're at the draft. Retired players, I'll take care of this. Snapshot it if you want to see your favorite player here. Stamkos, Forsberg, Toffoli, Hall, Skinner, Bertuzzi, Hurdle. A bunch of players there. Goaltenders, Frederick Anderson, Olmark, Korpisalo. So there you go. I'll deal with the rest of it, but let's get to draft day. And it is officially draft day. Before we dive in, I just kind of wanted to show you guys what I'm looking at here. And Lefebvre here, I think, is going to be the number 1 overall pick. They don't usually pass up on the number 1 overall pick, but Daniel Lefebvre is an NHL ready sniper, looks really good, solid player, might have a zone ability already. But our guy, Ronald Steckel here from the Regina Pats, the American power forward, something I think we need: shooting, puck skills, physicality. I feel like we have a lot of snipers. We got some playmakers and a couple two-way forwards. Porter Martone was supposed to be that stud power forward for us, but at 6'2", 196, I believe it's going to be Ronald Steckel, the power forward for us. I mean, it makes sense for what this team needs. The other guy I was looking at was maybe Stefan Erzberg, but I don't want to like pass on a guy that could be stud with Ronald Steckel here, right? He's got A+ shooting and puck skills, A senses, A skating, A+ physical, and A defense. You look at not Ronald Steckel. I'm literally highlighting Erzberg, and it still says Steckel. Come on, EA. Let's focus here. You guys had it at the beginning of the year, and you lost it. But you can see his senses, skating, physical, and defense are all slightly worse. There is Elias Binnington, who could be I mean, let's be honest, is probably a power forward at 6'4", 202. But A+ shooting, A+ puck skills. Everything else is A. NHL ready. Like it doesn't really matter as much anymore. The chemistry, because they can keep berating them until they finally listen. It's something you got to do like every month. You just beat them into submission. But Ronald Steckel is definitely going to be our pick. However, I have identified Trey Umberger here, who I would really like to take with a second-round pick number 39. So gonna have to move up a little bit, but looks like a really solid player. A shooting already. Plays like Teemu Selanne. Could be 3-bar medium elite, but we know for a fact Trey Umberger is NHL ready. So he might be a 78, somebody we play in the QMJ. We sign him and they let him play in the CHL if we don't have a spot for him. But I would definitely like to move up because that's another great pick to add to what we need. So first things first, let's take a look at the picks we have. Offer a trade here. And you can see what picks we have. We have the LA Kings pick, which obviously moved up. And then we have their second round pick as well, which is 40. Our second, which is 41. So we only have to move up a couple picks to get to Trey Umberger. And we've got a third, 2 fourths, a fifth, and a sixth. So I think getting rid of maybe a fourth and our second to move up to like 34 to go get Trey Umberger, I think makes sense. If we take a look here, our pick we know is 40 and 41, so that's 39, 38, 37. I mean, the Vegas Golden Knights want to move on from that pick. However, I think I'd like to just call St. Louis, just better safe than sorry here. 35 overall feels a little bit better for me because they don't always go according to what they say. So we'll try a second and a fifth to move up 6 spots, propose the trade, and it's a done deal. There we go. I don't feel like I lost out on any value. Maybe I could have tried the 6th. But the Philadelphia Flyers have the first overall pick. And they are going to take Lefebvre, the 83 overall medium elite sniper. Does he have a zone ability? He does not. He just has wheels, make it snappy, and shock and awe. And you guys know what that means. It is time to take Ronald Steckel. There's no deliberating about this one. There's no defenseman to go after, so there's no point in even talking about it. He's the best forward available. Our scouts think he might be the number 1 player on the board. So let's see. I mean, he's going to be the number 1 player for us. Ronald Steckel, 6'2". Welcome to the Toledo Underdogs, and he's an 82 medium elite power forward with 1 T, and he's got a good shooting category, a solid skater. All right, so I feel like Ronald Steckel's a guy we'll bring in and play right away. He had 116 points in 71 games in the WHL. That is a really, really solid season. Unfortunately, Team Canada would leave this guy at home. But 361 shots in 71 games played is awesome. That means he's a shooter, which is something we need. We need another guy like this. Had 44 power play points, so he's a power play goal scorer. Was only a +6, which is a little concerning. But honestly, guys, this is somebody that I'd like to sign and play right away. We'll bring in a bunch of youth into the system. The defensive category is a little scary to me at 79 shot blocking and 82 stick checking. But I feel like as a third line forward for us, play him with Taro Valen. I feel like those guys could have a very good partnership, and the third line could be dominant. So I have a cheeky little idea here. The Nashville Predators were the worst team in the NHL last year. And if you take a look at, oh God, I hate how they flip the triggers now. That's such an annoying little thing. Their team is, I mean, they got Louis Vara, who's really good, and they want to get rid of Vorobyov for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I guess they think that they might be better off without him. They did just take a Binnington, so he is now officially, we know what he is, Elias Binnington. 2-way forward, really solid all-around player, but not really a needle mover in year 1. And we're going to send Philip Zadina, and I think I might try for their first round pick next year. I don't see them getting a terribly amount better, right? Their goaltending situation is horrible with Saros still locked into a big deal. They don't really have any savior coming up in the pipeline, so goalie is bad. Their blue line, is really, really weak. So Zadina isn't something that helps them right away. I think we might get another top 5 pick here, which would help us out in the long run. And again, guys, when I am stuck with no 80 overalls or higher than an 80 overall in a trade, this is really what we're shooting for, is elite prospects. So Zadina doesn't look okay. Erzberg goes. He's a left-wing power forward, much like our guy, Ronald Steckel, but Stefan Erzberg, a little bit worse. I'm happy with the pick. I'm glad we didn't overthink it, but I am going to see if we can do Zadina for Nashville's first, because I feel like that could be something really, really solid for us, right? They're not a good team. I don't think their draft picks are making them that much better next season. Get another top 10 pick, potentially win a lottery pick again, because they dropped from 1 to 3. So potentially getting another lottery pick. And Zadina, I don't think he's going to help them. Honestly, he's not been tremendous. And Nashville is like they're the only team that really, really wants him. So I think that is a move we should be making. So using the find trade function, I was able to try their first. They want Zadina in a next year's second. I mean, we upgrade our second. They get Zadina. We get 7 mil in cap space. I'm throwing in the 6th just because I like to do stupid stuff like that. But we're going to try it and see what happens here. If we propose the trade, it is accepted. So we are going to get Nashville's first-round pick next year, and I know the team is upset because we traded away a quality player, but I can't really acquire quality players unless they're disgruntled. So maybe that's something I'll look for, is players that are clearly better than what their overall says, but for now, I think that's a pretty solid deal. So next up, we're going to find a trade for Ryan Johnson, and we're going to acquire Jake Bean. He's a 79 overall, and I think he's better than what his 79 overall suggests. He signed for 2 more years at 2.4, which doesn't really hurt us at all because we are going to move on from Ryan Johnson and not bring him back. So that's $5 million we have to play with, and yada, yada, yada. And it's going to cost us a 7th round pick next year in conjunction with Ryan Johnson. So Jake Bean for Ryan Johnson in a 7th, it's a really low risk move. His stats don't look awesome. So I'll forewarn you, his plus minus is pretty bad. But we brought him in, and so I'll show you guys what he takes, what he looks like. So Jake Bean here, you can see where he slots in. We still have Harris, who, oh my goodness, I hate when this happens. We still have Harris, who doesn't, I don't know if he's got a future with the team. Maybe yes, maybe no. He wasn't all that great when we acquired him. So I don't know if I want to bring him back. He's a guy we would have to re-sign. He's technically better than Jake Bean, but you take a look at him, he's all right. And take a look what he does. I mean, in the games that he's played in his career, he's about a 20-point guy. Doesn't really get much special teams. He hits, and he's okay at blocking shots. But the reason I went after Jake Bean is because he blocks shots. And as an offensive defenseman who blocks shots, I found that to be pretty impressive. A guy that can move the puck, that can skate, that is pretty good. He's 33, so a little bit of a veteran experience, but he blocks a ton of shots. His giveaway to takeaway ratio isn't tremendous, but I feel like we wouldn't be playing him all that much. He could easily deputize on the power play if Chubarovs or Harold Landry don't really fit in there. But you can see in St. Louis, wasn't really a great player. Didn't play at all for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So hopefully playing some will pick his confidence back up. But you can see, like, I'm looking at this season for St. Louis where he was a +5, 36 points. Yeah, his plus minus has never been good, but he's been in Utah, Calgary, St. Louis. Those teams haven't really been perennial stars. I just love the fact that he's blocking a ton of shots, and that's something I wanted. And if we scratch him, we scratch him. But at $2.4 million, and for an expiring player in a 7th, felt like there was no doubt about it. All right, we're at our 2nd round pick now, 35th overall, and you guys know who it is. It's got to be Trey Umberger, NHL ready sniper. If those numbers are anything to be believed, he is going to be a stud. So we'll see. Trey Umberger, is he medium elite or is he medium top 6? He is a medium top 6, but a 78 overall sniper. So likely we'll let him simmer one more year in the CHL, but should be a sniper ready to contribute very, very shortly. I mean, good skater, decent defense too for a 17-year-old 2nd round pick sniper. Can't really complain about that. The shooting category is really good. I'm very, very happy with this pick. The next guy we're going to go ahead and take is Zachary Aston, the right-handed defenseman, offensive defenseman. Maybe, could probably, maybe not. The scheme fit is what it is, but potentially 2 years away. I really like that. Could be 3 years away, might be medium top 6 defenseman. I don't know. We don't know enough about the draft at this point, but we are going to take Zachary Aston because I feel like we should be taking a defenseman. We are getting a medium top 4, 67 overall offensive defenseman. You'll love to see something like that. here in the second round. You got to make sure that these picks are at least decent and have a chance to contribute in the future, right? You want a ton of first round picks because those are the guarantees, but these guys, anything here is a bonus. And we've got some guys that are going to come and maybe contribute on the second, third line, or maybe the second pairing for Aston, and just some more defensemen and prospects to root for in the pipeline. The next guy we're going to go after here is Neil Regier. Really all over the board. Don't know much about how good he is now, but our scouts are thinking maybe he's 2 years away. The scheme fit is what it is. We have not much information about him, but 2 years away and as an 18-year-old, maybe 3. I'll absolutely take the swing on that, and it is a low top 6 potential for Neil Regier at 64 overall playmaker. So another player that could potentially contribute for us. Next, we're at 105 overall, and I'm going to take Don Bugner. He doesn't look crazy, but is obviously his attributes look decent, and he's 3 years away. Now, I know he is 20. He's a little bit on the older side, but here at this point, to have a 3-year away goalie, I feel like it's going to just keep the goaltender pipeline solid, because I believe Scott Rotzloff will kick him to the curb because we have 4 goaltenders we really do believe in, but Bugner will help replenish that pipeline. So welcome to the, low fringe starter at 62. Okay, not really replenishing much. And just to give you an update, guys, on our goaltender situation, you can see we've got Gardner at medium elite, Pitkin at high elite, Phillips as a medium starter, and then Scott Rotzloff here is the medium fringe starter. Probably time to move on from him because we got Langenbrunner here, who will be signed to be playing in the AHL, probably with Leonardo Phillips. That's my guess. Pitkin is probably going to jump enough, and Lincoln Gardner, I mean, we could have some real ridiculous goaltending coming up very shortly. So really, we aren't getting many offers for Scott Rotzloff, and next year's 7th is about the only thing we're going to be able to get. So we're going to go ahead and take this deal from the Edmonton Oilers. Thank you, Scott Rotzloff. It was fun rooting for you for a little bit, but good luck in Edmonton, because I think I think he's gonna play. Maybe, yeah, he's their backup goaltender. So I feel like that's a good thing for him. Nico Dawes, also there, brief stint, I believe, here in Toledo. Played 4 games. Appreciate your service, but yeah. He was better everywhere else, so I don't know what to say. All right, and I don't really feel like making our 6th round pick, so we're going to take that 7th we got from the Oilers and the 6th we just got and get a 3rd round pick next year. So absolutely doing that. And what that means, this is going to be our last pick, but we have Ellis here, 3-bar low elite. Our scouts think maybe 5 years away, but 3-bar low elite. I'm going to take the shot on it here with our final pick. He's low elite, great. If he's not, so be it. And he is going to be a low elite 2-way forward, so you'll love to see that 50 overall, so he does have a long way to go. But at 18, let him grow, let him develop. This is one that I probably won't sign right away. Let him play in the WHL unsigned. So there we go, low elite to round out this draft, and it's been pretty darn good. And just to show you guys at the bottom, obviously we got Stecker, Ronald Steckel. I think it's Ronald Steckel with our first pick. But then it's Umberger, Aston, Regier, Bugner, and Ellis. Really, the only miss is Bugner. Everybody else has got decent NHL potential, so I'm very happy with how this draft went. And now is the time to re-sign players and coaches, so really there's not many players that are worth talking about to be re-signed. I mean, Noah Ostlund, probably do want to bring him back. I mean, he's a good enough player, wins faceoffs for us, right? But he was just a big old minus. I don't like his underlyings, like as if they're advanced analytics. I mean, his giveaway to takeaway ratio was okay. I'd like to see it improve, and he definitely looks like he has improved that defensive category just a bit. Offensively, still pretty solid and wins faceoffs. So as a 3rd or 4th line center, I'm okay with him. Harris is he doesn't want to come back anyway, so I can just release him. Adios, dude. And then the rest are AHL players. So there we go. So everybody is back that we wanted to bring back, especially for Rochester. And we've signed our 2 rookies, Jarnqvist and Steckel. So we'll take a look quickly. I'll show you guys. I don't think there's much I'm going to need to be doing in free agency. Maybe some, I guess, optimizing. Taking a look at the lines. These aren't going to be the lines, but these are at least the players we have. We've got McKenna, Lambert, Tippett, Michelli, Lutz, Jarnqvist, Valen, Steckel, Ostlund, Julkinen, Martone, and Beck. Porter Martone, oh my God, down to an 81. I do like Beck too, but man, Martone really, I'm hoping that he bounces back in morale for next season, because I really think that's what's driving him down. It's the team performance and individual performance, and he needs to be part of the solution. He can't be part of the problem for us. $7.5 million for that kind of player. He's got to do better for sure, but I'm really happy with, like, even Huo could come up and play for us. He's a guy that I signed to play in Rochester. I know he was a -6 with 50 points. But I do like the fact that he had such a good giveaway to takeaway ratio and strong hits. It leads me to believe that he would translate to the fourth line. And then looking at our blue line, we are seeing Chubarov and Shaw. We know that. Perrick, Trudeau, Bean, and Pearson. And then Komarov would be the seventh defenseman. So I'll probably need to sign maybe an 80 overall to be our seventh defenseman, somebody that can step in and should the Jake Bean experiment completely implode. But I feel like for now, we're looking pretty good. I'm happy with it. So let's jump ahead to free agency, and I'll let you know if I do end up bringing anybody in. So I'm going after a medium elite 23-year-old defenseman, Zachary Skinner here. He is 72 overall. I don't know if he's upset or if he just hasn't developed. I think it's more the latter. I don't think this guy has developed very well. He's the Italian right-handed defenseman, would fit on our team, and he's another medium elite. I could play him. I'm paying him 1.75 to hope the Rangers don't sign him. Two teams interested. I think one of those would be us then. But honestly, guys, I think this just kind of makes sense for us to go after. As for somebody we did actually sign right now, it is going to be Regula here. Alec Regula looks like a really solid two-way defender. Offensive awareness really isn't there, but physical, strong defensive game. Really hasn't played in the NHL. I don't know why. I mean, like, this guy just doesn't play games straight up. Like, the first season here is 24-25, so really only 2 seasons throughout this entire save game that we have data for, but both of them, he seems to hit and block a lot of shots, and it doesn't matter where he's playing, so I think this is just a fine player to bring in. I don't know how he got up to an 80 overall without playing, like, at all, but he's played, I guess, 22 NHL games at some point in his career. Yeah, played for Chicago there, it looks like, but honestly, a player that in the sim might not be too bad. And here we go, guys. Off season done. Let's take a look at the lines and how we are looking heading into the next season. Cooper Lutz didn't develop like I had hoped. 85, I think it's actually worse than his 87. I'm not sure exactly why he would not be growing, but they've got Porter Martone here on the second line as an 81. I mean, I like it, right? Like, he's a good player, and we need to get him some ice time. Taro Vallon and Lavin didn't really develop like we had hoped. Tyler Lavin here, I think I'd like to keep him on the fourth line and then move Steckel up to play with Jarnqvist. Jarnqvist looks really good. 80, 85 overall, sniper for the third line. We'll see how he does in the sim, but, I mean, could easily be one of these scenarios where we move Jarnqvist to the wing here to play with these guys. I mean, Lambert down there would get a +3, but I'm not putting Lambert on the third line. We got options here, guys, to move some players around, but I like the idea that Gavin McKenna's up to a 93 now. I'd love to see him get a zone ability. I think he needs to have a good statistical season, I think, in order to get there, but Cooper Lutz has got a bunch of X factors. Oh, God, we're not moving Jarnqvist there. We're going to keep Jarnqvist there with Taro Vallon, who's the playmaker, really good playmaker. And then you've got Jarnqvist, who can win faceoffs, play defense, and Ronald Steckel, the power forward with a X factor as well. So our coach rolls 3 lines. So Tommy Jolkinen, who we traded, we got Yuri Kulik for him and the first, which ended up being Steckel. So I feel like that's a much better looking deal. We got William Huo. I just signed him last year for Rochester. And then Tyler Lavin, who, we acquired with the Stars at the deadline a couple years ago. And looks like a really solid, well-rounded player. I'd like to see some of these guys develop a bit more, but the locker room chemistry is pretty low, so we'll see about that. On the blue line, our coach has Jake Bean playing middle pairing minutes. I don't know about that one there, Chief. Regula here. I mean, Jake Bean, he could be the third. I don't. Okay, we need to make some roster moves. But looking at the team, it looks solid enough. Again, it looks all sorts of discombobulated right now. Martone, I know, is for a fact better than an 81, listed as a second line forward, but it's just his morale. So if we can it might be his statistical growth might be hurting him a ton. So we'll see if we can get him to develop into something. And then in goal, we've got Gardner and Pitkinen. And oh my goodness, Mika Pitkinen, I would like to sign this guy long-term. Unfortunately, he's got another year left on his deal, which is a good thing for him. Oh my God. We got a great goaltending tandem, which is something that I didn't think we'd say earlier, but taking a look in the AHL, probably a couple guys that I'm going to need to sign. Actually, they want to play Vyacheslav Alexeyev there. I don't know why, but it looks all right down there in Rochester. Walter Pearson definitely needs to come up. And then are we playing lefty? Yeah. So we'll call up Walter Pearson. We'll probably send Jake Bean down as my guess, because I would really like to play Walter Pearson. And then in goal, we're looking at Leonardo Phillips and Jarro Langenbrunner. But another great goaltender. We have so many good goaltenders. Man, guys, I would have loved to make some big splashy trades for some 90 overall players. But again, that's against the spirit of this simulation. I'm not as in love with the team on paper as I have been in the past, but the last 2 years I was excited to make noise. We missed the playoffs, so maybe this year is the year we actually end up doing it. So let me know your guys' thoughts, what we got going on right now. I mean, a power forward, a two-way forward, and a playmaker. We got playmaker, sniper, power forward on the third line, and then we've got sniper with sniper and playmaker. So, I mean, maybe Ronald Steckel goes up there, and then Porter Martone goes to the third line kind of thing. I mean, that actually looks pretty good to me. Ronald Steckel, the power forward. We'll see. I can play around with it. There's a lot I can do. I could put Kim Charnquist up there too, and I think we get a plus. Oh, we only get a +3. Look at that. Michelli could come down. Actually, I kind of like the way things look right there. Right, we got a goal scorer for the second line. We got a goal scorer on the first line with a power forward there, a two-way forward there, and then we got a power forward with a sniper and a playmaker still on the third line. Porter Martone hopefully does simulate well this time and grows a bit, and we have some conversations. But this honestly looks pretty good to me, guys. I'm happy with it. Let me know your thoughts. Defensively, I think I am going to call up Walter Pearson and then just scratch Jake Bean. Owen Beck, I don't like the fact that he is scratched. Oh, Tuomo Ristolainen is 81 as well. Wow, I'm going to call him up for sure. He's a really solid-looking playmaker. How did he do down in Rochester? I mean, you can see he's got a ton of points, a good takeaway to giveaway ratio, and he hits. I will absolutely take that. And in the NHL, I will take a look and say Jake Bean and probably Lavin get sent down. I don't think Lavin is quite ready for NHL time. I think we just have better options down in the minors. You can see that he just didn't quite make the jump, and he didn't have the Rochester stats that a guy like Ristolainen has. So we're going to send Lavin and Bean down to the minors. We'll see what that does to our cap. Our cap, I think, should be fine. Yeah, we are at 89. We're supposed to be at 83, so we're okay there. So send those guys down, confirm, no waivers because it's early, and then we'll best lines in the NHL, see what coach does, and we'll give you guys one final impression of the team before we head out of here. Who did they scratch they scratched Steckel? Are you kidding me? Do I have to send Oslin down? Because I'll do it. I'll freaking do it if I have to send Noah Oslin down. I mean, listen, he was not good. -22, not good giveaway to take away ever. So he's probably a guy that I could trade away, and I just don't want the coach playing him. So that's about that. But Huo probably takes his Oslin spot. Oslin, flip-flop him with Tippett. Martone, send him down to there. Yep, we're looking good. And then Oslin in for Steckel. And there we go. I think we got a pretty good-looking team. Tuomo Ristolainen here, maybe over Taro Valen. They're both low elite. He's a playmaker. He looked really good. We get a +2 on the bottom line with him, but maybe I want to give him more ice time. Maybe I don't want to really get rid of anybody at this point because the team, I think, is at its limit for getting rid of players, but I like it. You guys let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Are these lines good? Are they bad? Do we have Jake Bean? He's not playing anymore. So there we go. That's what the lines look like. I'm happy with it. Hope you guys are as well. But that's all the time I have for this one. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see some more. And I will see you guys in the next one.
It's a free for all.